In the third act, Grandpa sees two of his old friends, Peggy Pendleton and Arnold Franklin.
The two of you look unbelievable.
A little later, Pete arrives.
Hey, that must be Pete.
And it's time for the surprise.
Come on! We'll tell you the big surprise!
What's the surprise?
Don't tell me. Please don't tell me. I recognize you.
Oh, don't be silly, Arnie. Of course you recognize him. Except for the beard, he hasn't changed in 50 years. It's Malcolm Stewart.
I know it's Malcolm Stewart. You haven't changed much in 50 years.
Peggy. Peggy Pendleton. You're Peggy Pendleton.
Who am I, you old rascal? You don't recognize me, do you?
I know who you are. You're Arnold Franklin. Oh, I know who you are.
You look wonderful, Malcolm.
Sit down, sit down. Pete isn't home.
Really?
Oh, he left a note on the door saying he was going to the railroad station to pick up a surprise.
He's so funny. Always full of surprises, even 50 years later.
The two of you look unbelievable.
How's your family? Oh, I was sorry to hear about your wife having passed away.
Yes, about 4 years ago.
And you're living with your children now in New York? Pete wrote us and told us.
Yep. Retired and moved to New York to live with my son and his family.
By the way, what do you think this big surprise is?
Could be most anything, knowing Pete.
Hey, that must be Pete. Now we'll find out about the surprise.
So good to see you.
Hi, Pete.
Pete! Oh, it's so good to see you.
Remember Lillian?
I remember all of you. You haven't changed a bit. Lillian? Oh, my gosh. Oh.
We were together in the Thursday Night Drama Society.
Remember me, Malcolm?
Oh, beautiful as ever, Lillian. How's Donald?
Oh, that's okay, Malcolm. Donald passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh, I'm so
sorry.
I would not have missed this get-together for the world.
And your little surprise, Pete. You really surprised me by having us all come together.
You don't know what the surprise is yet. Come on! We'll tell you the big surprise. I've invited you here for the weekend to help celebrate.
Celebrate?
Our 50th reunion.
No, Pete wants to
Now
tell you.
let me have the honor, Lillian.
For goodness sake, Pete, tell us. I can't wait much longer.
Well, I am pouring this iced tea so that we can toast Lillian and me.
You don't mean to tell me that you...
Yes, I do. I have loved Lillian all these years, so I asked her to be Mrs. Pete Waters.
And I said yes.
I knew it. Congratulations.
Oh, Lillian, I am so happy for you both.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful for me. Lillian will make me a happy man, finally.
You are full of surprises, Pete.
We are going to spend the entire weekend having a good time together here on the farm. We are going to celebrate all weekend.
When is the wedding?
That's another surprise. Lily and I were married 2 weeks ago in Detroit. She's come here to stay.
Wait till I tell my family about this.
Why, that's wonderful.
What a weekend. Pete and Lillian seem so happy. After all these years, 50 years to be exact. 50 years ago, I was a young man. Not bad looking either. And Pete was my college roommate, a real pal. He conducted the orchestra. He really loved music. Pete loved Lillian from the moment they met. Sometimes he'd call the radio station where I was an announcer and ask me to play certain love songs for Lillian. She's always been lovely. And he wanted to spend his life with her. Lil liked Pete, but she fell in love with Donald. Donald and I were on the Michigan football team. He was the quarterback and captain. I was the smallest one on the team. Well, I finally got to play my senior year. Lil and Donald got married right after college and bought a house in Detroit, Michigan. Oh, look at this. Here's a picture of Lil and their son, Donald Jr. Later, the family grew to include Robert and Barbara. Meanwhile, Pete stayed single, working hard, conducting orchestras, playing in bands and teaching music, until he retired and bought the farm in Chesterton 4 years ago. Donald passed away. And now Pete and Lil are married and living on his farm. You never know what's going to happen. Life is full of surprises.